You have been an outspoken opponent of Russia's invasion of Ukraine, going as far as to call it a genocide. But when it comes to Gaza, you've criticized people for calling Gaza a genocide. Why is that, Joe? Why is what's happening in Ukraine a genocide, but not what's happening in Gaza, when far more people have been killed and displaced in Gaza than in Ukraine?
I think it goes to motive and intent. I think Putin is trying to kill, and he has been for 3 years, Ukrainian civilians.
Notice how Joe knows the motives of the murderers. So it's justified murders because he likes them, and it's unjustified murders if he doesn't like them. He knows their motives somehow.
Kidnapping Ukrainian children. His intent is to kill civilians. You and I can arm wrestle. I don't think that's Israel's intent at all. I think Israel...
Even though Israeli government members have said far more genocidal stuff than Vladimir Putin has.
Completely. There are extreme members of Israel's government.
Not just extreme members, the president, the prime minister.
There always have been. But
the president and prime minister of the country
I know,
have said stuff that Vladimir Putin has not said about Ukraine. And yet Joe Walsh, if you said neither's a genocide, then I'd be fine. We'd move on. We'll talk about other things about Gaza. What I find fascinating is that you're happy to say genocide here, but if you say it there, you get mad. I don't get it.
Well, I don't get mad. I just think...
You do. I've seen some of you.
He does.
I just think Putin's intent is to eliminate the Ukrainian
Based on
people.
what? His words?
Based on his actions.
Why is Israel's words and actions not the same?
Israel's actions and words, again, you can find some, but Israel's...
I could read you dozens. I'd be here all day if I started reading out all the genocidal statements from Israeli ministers.
I can find you a more history
Just a few days ago, Just a few days ago, the deputy speaker of the Israeli parliament, a senior member of the Likud party, Netanyahu's party, said that the Palestinian civilians, his words, civilians, are scum, subhuman, and the women and children should be separated so that men can all be killed. That is stuff that Milosevic said. That is stuff I've not even heard Putin say. I don't hear Joe Walsh condemning that as genocidal.
Well, I would condemn that, and I will condemn that statement.
That's a genocidal statement.
That is a genocidal statement. I'm saying, Mehdi, that is a...
But Joe still thinks that the government that said that statement isn't committing a genocide, even after the genocidal statement of what they want to do.
Very minority view overall in Israel. Oh my God, in Israel's government and among the Israeli people.
Well, put the Israeli people to one side. There's many polls. The Israeli government consists of Netanyahu and Smotrich and Amichai Eliyahu, who said, let's drop a nuke on Gaza.
That's not the majority. You think...
That is the Israeli government, Joe. They're the people...
What evidence does he have that the Russian government feels that way? None. He just thinks it. He wants to think it. And he doesn't want to think it about Israel because that's where his money comes from. Hasbara money.
Killing the Palestinians right now, creating the post-war plan to wipe out the Palestinians with Trump to get rid of them from the place. Is it genocidal?
Is it Israel's intent to target and kill Palestinian civilians?
100%, yes.
You believe it has? That's been their intent from day one after October 7th.
They've said it, Joe. The guy I just quoted to you.
But you can't believe what they're saying or what they're doing, apparently. You just have to believe what Joe Walsh thinks they were trying to do. That's the logic here. That's the logic. Don't believe what they're saying and don't believe what they're doing. Just believe what I think they really want. And then for Russia, I think they want bad things, so we go after them. This is all dependent on Joe's preferences.
Deputy Speaker of the Parliament said, let's kill all the adult men in Gaza.
And I'm
so you just put your hands in your ears?
No, I'm telling you that's a minority view. That's not the majority.
Okay, Benjamin Netanyahu said they are Amalek. What is Amalek, Joe? In the Bible, Amalek is kill everybody. Men, women, children, even the donkeys. That's what Netanyahu said.
Mehdi,
I didn't hear Putin say that.
Mehdi, again, I can find extreme things that members of Israel's government has said.
Yeah, that counts as intent, and that's why they're at the ICJ, and that's why ICJ is investigating him. That's why some of Israel's leading Holocaust scholars have said it's a genocide.
If Israel wanted to exterminate the Palestinian people, they could have done it in 3 months.
That's the worst argument you've ever made in all the time I've made. I'll tell you why. Vladimir Putin could have erased everyone in Ukraine with a nuke.
No.
Yes, he could.
Oh, God, no.
Yes, he could.
Well, with a nuke.
Yeah.
But with a nuke, then...
No, hold on. Your argument is Israel is not genocidal because they haven't killed everyone in Gaza and they could. I'm saying Vladimir Putin could kill everyone in Ukraine and he hasn't. Therefore, according to Joe Walsh's logic, Vladimir Putin is not genocidal.
A different situation in this degree. Oh. Israel is capable, from day one they were capable...
As is Putin.
Well... only with nukes. Israel is fighting another sovereign nation with a full-on military, with the support of the world community. Ukraine.
Okay. You said Russia, you said Israel.
Oh, I'm sorry. So Russia literally has an opposing army, supported that...
But it could wipe it out. And by the way, the definition of genocide is not to kill everyone in a place. You know this, right?
I do.
They don't have to kill everyone to be genocidal.
Oh, I know that. But Mehdi...
But what they've done meets many of the criteria of genocide, which is why they're in front of the ICJ, which is why some of the leading genocide scholars in the world are saying it's a genocide.
No.
Omar Bartov, Israeli Holocaust historian. Amos Goldberg, Israeli Holocaust historian. Daniel Blatvik, Israeli Holocaust. They all say it's genocide. Are they
Now, when Mehdi finishes all this list of people who are agreeing with him, let's listen to Joe Walsh's list of people who are agreeing with him.
crazy? These people study this for a living, Joe.
But do you?
Not you and me.
No, I know that, and I respect those opinions. But I don't think that's the majority view.
Just
but
Joe.
Secondly, going back to Russia,
Amnesty International, Human Rights Watch, all say genocide.
Well,
But Mehdi, Joe says no.
again,
Human rights groups, Israeli Holocaust historian,
Mehdi,
Joe Walsh.
Mehdi,
With respect, what do you know that they don't know?
With respect,
With respect.
I'm sure it's more than Joe Walsh. But again, just to get back to Russia on this point, Mehdi, so Russia would be forced to use a nuke because Russia is fighting literally an army.
But they could, is what I'm saying. People were worried about Putin using nukes.
But a nuke then would mean the destruction of Russia. That's a whole different equation. Israel doesn't have to use a nuke, and they didn't from day one to get rid of the Palestinian people.
But they have made life uninhabitable. It's not hypothetical. Right now, as of right now, Gaza is uninhabitable. Donald Trump says so, the President of the United States. In fact, let me show you. I think we've got some footage. I'd love to get your response to this footage because Gaza, over the last 16 months, have a look at the screen, has suffered an apocalyptic level of destruction. This is a recent drone video from January. 70% of the buildings destroyed. Look at that imagery. That is not an anti-terror operation. That is not just targeting Hamas. That is, look at the imagery. That is something out of, I don't even know what to, is it a Mad Max movie? It's entirety destruction. If that's not genocidal, I don't know what is. I haven't seen scenes like that in Ukraine, maybe in one town.
Yes, but Joe thinks that Russia would do that too if they could. So they're bad too.
Very important. I
That's
haven't
the
seen
whole
the
argument.
entire Gaza Strip.
Mehdi, by every measurement of urban warfare, Israel has
Please
gone
don't give
up.
me a talking point, Joe.
No, I'm looking at that.
Respond to the footage.
I'm
What is your
responding
interest in-
to the footage.
You don't give a damn about that. That
No,
doesn't bother
I
you.
do. Don't say that.
Well,
I do
then-
give a
well, then
damn.
engage with
I
it.
do
Please
give
don't
a
give me
damn.
some talking about urban warfare
No,
stats.
no, it
I
is-
know the stats. I can give you stats. I'm asking you to
It
respond
is
to that
urban.
footage.
Agreed. And
Entire cities
agreed.
and towns wiped
Gaza
out.
needs to be rebuilt.
That's
no
not
doubt.
engaging with the footage.
No, it is.
What is your human reaction to seeing entire towns, cities, refugee camps wiped out?
And I bet Joe's solution is we let the Israeli people rebuild it for the Israeli people and we just get rid of all the Gazans. That's his solution. Yeah, it's not a genocide. We moved them. That's ethnic cleansing, Joe.
My reaction is that really sucks. That's horrible. That needs to be rebuilt. But I'm not going to lay the lion's share of the blame on Israel.
The people
for
who wiped that out. The people who chose to drop 2,000-pound bombs on civilian homes, apartments, buildings.
I'm going to lay the lion's share of the blame on Hamas for starting the war on October 7th, knowing exactly what would happen, hiding for years behind their civilians, putting their civilians in harm's way. I'm not going to blame the
It's a very strange
army.
argument that says they started a war knowing that would happen. So,
God, yeah.
So hold on. So if I start a fight with a known gangster or murderer and he kills a bunch of my family in response, it's my fault?
Oh.
No, seriously, the law, it's a very strange
Yes.
argument. You're basically conceding that Israel was going to respond in a genocidal way. That's what you're saying.
I don't
You're saying Hamas started knowing Israel would do that. That doesn't make it
not-
morally right what Israel
I'm not
did.
conceding.
But Mehdi, you're missing the point. It's not genocide when Israel does it. That's the whole point. They can do whatever they want, but we'll criticize everyone else in the world when they do things much less worse than what Israel's doing.
That's a genocidal way.
What is that? What is
I'm
that
just
imagery
saying-
in your eyes? I'm trying to understand. What
no,
is that imagery?
that is a horrible result.
That is something we've
That
not
is-
seen in modern wars. I mean, what they've done in Gaza, other military commanders, you know this, Joe,
no, I
including the
know.
US, have said, we would never do this.
But Mehdi,
the UK, the US.
The Gaza is a very unusual setting for a war like this. I'll give you this. But we're talking
50%
about
children.
We're talking about Hamas that has
Yes, it's a weird setting because it's all rubble now. That's a weird setting. They turned it into rubble. The setting is rubble, Joe.
a history of purposely provoking Israel, then
That's
hiding
your claim.
behind.
They would say they're provoked by Israel by unending occupation.
but
But I want to ask you this question about
this
civilians.
is what-
I do want to ask you a question.
I love being with you.
No, but I want to ask you because I want to deal with actual substantive stuff. We
But
can
that
argue-
is substantive
No, that's
stuff.
opinion. I want to deal with fact.
Oh my God!
It is opinion about who provoked who. We can get into that. I will come to that, I promise. But just dealing with this, I just want to deal with human. Because the reason I want to talk to you about the subject is because at home in the US, I see you caring about human rights, civil liberties, democracy, fascism. And then I see Israel, you're on the wrong side completely. So when I look at, for example, that destruction, I don't think you would defend that if it wasn't Israel that was doing it. Similarly, 6-year-old Hind Rajab, you always say Hamas, Hamas, Hamas. This is the great excuse for Israel committing war crimes. You have a 6-year-old girl, Hind Rajab, infamously killed in a car with her 4 cousins, her uncle and aunt, all killed by an Israeli tank that was firing at them. She makes a 911 call. Very, very tragic, horrific call. They send 2 paramedics, the Palestinians, to rescue her. The Israelis killed the paramedics as well in the ambulance. Sky News, the Washington Post have all debunked the Israeli denials that their tank wasn't in the area at the time. The UK independent investigators, Forensic Architecture, they looked at it and said that the Israelis fired 335 bullets into this car and that the tank driver had to have seen that there were children sitting in this car. How do you defend that, Joe?
I don't. I don't.
You do. I've got a quote from you that says Israel deserves immense praise for winning this war as carefully as they can. Would you say that to the remaining family members?
No,
of
no,
Hind?
no. Let me finish.
Would you say that to their faces of Hind Rajab's family?
Oh, God, no. Mehdi, look, I defend the way Israel. Let me finish.
In abstract. This is why I get specific.
No. I
know how people do this. Abstract.
No.
Specific.
So let me address both.
Yeah.
I agree. Broadly speaking, I defend the way Israel has fought this war, acknowledging that, and let me finish this thought, that mistakes are made in every war and that there are purposeful, indefensible acts made even by the IDF and any military. And that's an example of one.
But as long as they have Israel on their flag, they didn't commit a genocide, and nothing they do can be criticized. That's the fucking issue here.
So you're agreeing then that in this war that you support, Israel has committed war crimes?
I agree. Purposeful, yes, mistakes have been made.
No, not mistakes.
I'm not going to.
Mistake is, I shot that person, I didn't mean to shoot.
The mistake is you listened to your prime minister and did what he told you to do. That's the mistake. That's why genocide's happening, because they're listening to their leadership.
Shoot that person. A war crime is I deliberately killed a civilian, which you seemed to concede for a moment, and then you pulled back.
No, hold on. I don't know that I'm going to call it a war crime.
Why?
I'm going to say, I don't know.
What's killing a child with 335 bullets isn't a war crime?
Give me the formal definition of war.
A violation of international humanitarian law, deliberately targeting civilians. What every human rights group. I mean, I could start reading to you. I could read to you from the
And medical. They killed the paramedics too. Like, that's also a war crime. I don't think you're allowed to target medics.
National Criminal Court Chief Prosecutor's
So
indictment.
yes,
We know
so
because he's
Mehdi-
literally charged.
So Mehdi,
the Prime Minister
so yes,
you support with war crimes.
Well,
and crimes against humanity.
I don't support that
You've praised
Prime
him.
Minister.
You've praised Netanyahu.
I also called for him to resign.
I know, but you've also praised him.
Hold on. Right. But let me get that out.
Factually accurate
2
when I
weeks
say you've
after
praised him.
October 7th, I said he needs to go.
And then in the 18 months since, you've praised the man who was indicted.
I've also been critical of him as well.
Indicted for war crimes.
Well, I could care less about what the IJC said about war crimes.
You sound like a Republican of.
And that's exactly where they're basing all the original Holocaust from, because the same people that put the Nazis in jail, you applauded that, but when they go after Israel now, you don't even care. You don't even acknowledge them as a body that has that authority. Why? What changed?
Of old now.
No,
you do. Republicans, this is what I'm saying. At home, you're like rule of law, judiciary, courts. Abroad, screw the ICJ and the ICC. Do you see how you switch from home and abroad? At home, you're Joe Walsh, the Democrat.
Still the same.
Abroad, you're Joe Walsh, supporter of fascism, anti-international law.
But you know what's great about this whole thing is it's all focused on Israel. You haven't for a second talked about what is.
Well, why would I? You're not a supporter of the Palestinians or Hamas. When I talk to people who support that, I ask them about that. You are a supporter of the Israeli government, so I'm going to ask you about Israel.
And
you can do whataboutism all you want. Again, that's what MAGA people do here. When you ask them about MAGA, what do? They blame the Democrats. So let's not play that.
No,
game.
Let's
ask you about Israel.
Mehdi, it's not the MAGA game. I'm going to say yes. Israel's made mistakes. I'm going to say yes.
War crimes.
Israel.
No, I'm asking war crimes.
Israel. Call it what you want. Israel.
No, I'm asking you to call it.
And I'm going to tell you. I don't know. I'm going to tell you.
Joe.
No,
I'm not going to let you run away with it. You can shout all you want. 300.
He doesn't know, but he knows that Russia is committing war crimes because he has an idea of what's in Putin's head. He said that literally, that he knows what their intent was based off of his opinions. So they're war criminals, but Israel's not, because he knows that they're good people, right? They're the good people, so they wouldn't do that.
135 bullets fired into a car with children. Is that a war crime?
I don't. You know what? Could be. Investigate it. But God damn it,
it was investigated, Joe.
This is what Hamas does all the time.
Joe,
hiding behind civilians is a war crime. You know what?
Okay. By the way, you said.